Hi everyone, welcome back to the Craft Our Stash cards on the 15th. This is a, sorry, I almost hit my cat. This is a collab with Paige that I do once a month on the 15th. So the idea is to use up things in our stash. So what you saw initially was the follow your art. I decided to do some cards that are a little different this time, and honestly this paper is beautiful, but I wasn't sure if I'd use it, so I forced myself to use it, and I'm glad I did. I think the cards came out cute. So what I used is this Crafting Forever stamp set. This is still available. This was in the last catalog, but it carried over. This is one of the two that has the copyright Stampin' Up on it if you sell your work. But I used the pens, these 3 sentiments, the scissors, and I think that's it out of that one. So that's the first thing I used. I used these hearts, these 2 up here from the Be Mine Stitch Framelit dies, which are still available. I used the largest 2 stitch squares out of the Stitch Shapes dies. I used 2 of the rectangle stitch framelit dies. I think I used them twice. I used this sentiment, I made you a card because you're worth it, on the last card, and I used different components of this follow your art. I just closed it up. This is a kit that goes with the Follow Your Art suite. So I used some of the felt pieces and some of the twine, and actually the washi doesn't come in the little box, but I used this washi a couple times. I'm missing something here that I used. I used a button. There's a new button. What can I do with that? Anyway, there's a button embossing folder, and I used that as well, which I must have put it away and I don't know what I do with it right now. Anyway, I used that, and I did use some of this. This is actually the Very Vanilla, which is retired, but you can use the Whisper White polka dot tulle ribbon. Okay, so let me just go one by one. This is the first card I did. This is a piece of the designer paper. It's on Calypso Coral, and I cut this heart out of this Calypso Coral, like down around here, because I knew it was going to be hidden anyway. This is a piece of Whisper White. This is on thick Whisper White. I colored the scissors with Calypso Coral Light and Smoky Slate White in my alcohol markers. Fussy cut them out. I used, I think I used Smoky Slate on that to match this. 3 little gems, I think actually are from a former paper pumpkin kit, and I just folded a piece of the ribbon. I don't even see if you can see it. There you go. The polka dot ribbon underneath the heart, and the heart is bumped up on dimensionals, and then inside I just left it blank, but I did the Calypso Coral with the Whisper White. So that's card number 1, and that said, we are cut out to be friends. Card number 2, this is a piece of Blushing Bride, and this is a leftover piece of Calypso Coral from doing this card, as is this circle here, which is out of the 2 1/4 inch circle punch. The Whisper White is the Starburst punch, and I stamped Do Something Creative Every Day from that Crafting Forever stamp set. This banner was an extra piece of paper left over from a previous project, and this is one of the felt pieces up here. So I just did a bunch of layering, the banner piece and the circle, and then again the polka dot tulle ribbon. And these little dots are out of the Happiness Blooms dots that they carried over in the current catalog, and they are in Calypso Coral. And on the inside, I just again did Blushing Bride, a little piece of that paper, and the white, and staggered them to make it look staggered like the front. So that is the second card. The third card I did on basic gray cardstock because the background of this was basic gray. This is a piece of crushed curry. This is where I used the stitched rectangles. It actually is where I also used the button, and you can't see it, but there's buttons in the paper. So I wanted to use the button embossing folder, which is annoying me that, oh, here it is. Nope, that's not it. I don't know what I did with that. Anywho, that's bizarre. I had it out. Maybe I don't know, guys. I'm not sure what I did with it. Oops. Anyway, it's embossed with little button. You can sort of see them around the edge. And I had it as a bigger piece, and I put 2 pieces of the washi on, and then I decided to do the stitching, the stitch square frame dies out of the stitch shapes. And I kind of like how that came out. You can't really see the buttons, but I like the border of the washi. And then I used Pacific Point on here, and this is Pacific Point out of that little Follow Your Art kit. There's some little thread in there, and one of the little felt pieces. Crafting Forever, Housework Whenever, and inside I just used a strip of the paper, designer paper, and Whisper White. So that's the third one. The fourth one is on Pacific Point. This is one of the designer papers. Here I used the, I think it's the Timeless Label Punch. Yes, Timeless Label Punch. Stamp Do Something Creative Every Day, but then I punched it out again in crushed curry and cut it in half and layered it on there. And just put another felt piece on and bumped that up on dimensionals. And then on the inside, another strip of the paper, a strip of the washi on the Whisper White, and I thought that came out cute. So that's card number 4. And the last card had all these pens on it, and the Crafting Forever stamp set. I don't have the one that goes with the Follow Your Art, but I had this one from last year, and it has these pens on. So I stamped them in basic gray. I colored these 2 in with alcohol markers in Calypso Coral, actually Daffodil Delight, I think, and Smoky Slate. This one is colored in, not in Coastal Cabana, but in Bermuda Bay, because I don't have it. There is no Coastal Cabana alcohol marker. But this one, I was like, I want to bring in the blue, but I only had Pacific Point in this marker, so that's what I did. But I did use the alcohol marker in Smoky Slate to fill it in. So I mixed and matched. Why not? So again, I cut them out with the rectangle stitch dies, Pacific Point, and this, and I bumped that up on dimensionals. And then I stamped Hello There. That's out of Here's a Card. And I cut it with the 1 3/8 inch scallop circle punch. I cut it in blue, also the Pacific Point blue. And I just layered it over, and then I bumped that up on dimensionals over here and glued it on here. Another little piece of the thread and a glitter enamel dot in Coastal Cabana. And inside, again, a strip of the other paper, Whisper White, and then in stitched rectangles on Pacific Point and white, it says, I made you a card because you're worth it. So hello there, I made you a card because you're worth it. So those are my 5 cards for this month in Crafting with Paige, Craft Our Stash, and I hope you enjoyed them. They were fun to make. So yeah, I probably could have gone on and made some more, but I have other things I have to do. So yeah, that's our cards. I hope you enjoyed them. Hugs, love, and peace. Until the next time, and be sure to go check out Stmpgrl, who is Paige. I'll put the link to her channel down below. And if you want to join us, just leave us a link on where your video is so that others can see that you're participating too. And we'd love to see what you make as well. Thank you again. Bye for now.